In this video, I'll give you an update on the UniFi products that were either announced or released in the month of May 2025. There were 6 devices previously announced that are now available, 8 additional devices that have been released in this month, and additional 2 devices that were just announced. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Bogdan Chperny and I run Apex One IT. We do networking, security, and also IT consulting. So let's go ahead and start with the devices that were previously announced and are now available for purchase. First is this WAN switch RJ45, $249. So they do have a SFP Plus, but this is the one that's now released. And by the way, Cody from Mac Telecom has a good video on the setup of how this works, right? This is basically for trying to do high availability kind of thing. And if you have more than one ISP, you need 2 of these as well, actually. And then we have the Pro XG 8 PoE, $500. So it's right here on my desk. It's actually, this is the fiber gateway. It's kind of plasticky and stuff. And you might think that maybe this Pro XG is like that, but it's actually more like the Pro Max 16. It's white, so you might think it's plastic, but it's basically all metal around. And it's heavy and big. And this is without the power supply that is also quite large. So just FYI. So this is the one, the 10 gig with the PoE plus, okay? Not the triple plus like the other XG switches have. So somehow, I think I'll be wall mounting this maybe under my desk, but it's definitely a keeper. It is going to be the smallest one that has ether lighting. The smallest, but not the cheapest. I think the Pro Max 16 is less expensive. Okay, so you see the power supply here is like half the size of this unit, but it has wall mounting for both the power supply and for the switch itself. And we had the G3 phones announced. This is now just showing the Enterprise, what they're calling the Enterprise now. It's the kind of full screen horizontal, 7-inch display, which is really good for like protect if you're viewing like 4 cameras. It can easily handle that. I mean, that's why I like it. So they are out now. This one and also the wall mounted version, the actual design of it is unique. But the size and everything should be comparable to that of the Enterprise version. I do have both of these. I need to get a review out for these. Okay, and then finally our first kind of officially straight out of the factory black access point from UniFi. So these have been announced again, but they are available. The XG version, $200, and also the XGS for $100 more. So yeah, full black version. I do have one on the way. I'm kind of pretty excited to see it in the flesh. But this, of course, if you're not familiar, the XG series here, 10 gig and just the new access point kind of design, I would say. Then the 8 devices, both announced and released, you can actually purchase these. So first I'm not 100% sure on these. I know they had the Pro XG 24 PoE and the 48 PoE, but these are the non-PoE versions. I didn't see them before. Maybe they were announced before, but they're out and you can actually purchase. So 2,000 and 1,100 for the 24 port version. These are definitely enterprising, I would say, right? So they're not all 10 gig, but the 16 on the back here are 10, and these are up to the 8 on the left are 2.5 gig with ether lighting, again, not PoE. SFP 28 ports, okay, 25 gig. That's the normal thing here. That's why it's really enterprising. If we look at the 48, it should be similar, yeah. So the banks are the same, it just kind of doubled. So then you have 16 of the 2.5 gig ports, and yeah, layer 3 switch as expected with rails. This is the 24 version also with rails. Okay, so that's great because they do look deeper than they are wide actually. Okay, then the U7 long range. I think this kind of slipped through the cracks, but they did release it and you can buy it. So U7 LR. I guess, really we should probably compare it to the U6 and maybe U7 Pro Max even here. So this will have, Wi-Fi 7 tech, but you'll see long range costs more. It's technically, I mean, they're putting here 2,000 square feet. So the long range kind of APs in general, right? They'll have stronger power. Yes, see here for the 2.4 gigahertz. Both of these long range are 26 and this one's 23 dBm. That kind of gives you the little longer range, but you have to understand that when you're connecting a device, like where's my phone? I don't know. The access point's reaching out farther, but you still have a small antenna like on your phone and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys like the long range ones and had success with them. They're actually better for you. Let me know. I do have one at one site, but I generally just go and deploy like a Pro version, like a Pro Max, for example. Yeah, it's interesting that, right, so with the U7 long range, you have a 2.5 gig port there. instead of the 1. Okay, and interesting enough, it actually just uses PoE, not PoE plus, so more efficient than the U6 long range in that sense. Yeah, 14 watts max power. And no Bluetooth on these devices. That was only really useful for like the all-in-one sensors. And slightly more throughput here on the 2.4 gigahertz. So you get 688 megabits per second versus 600 on the U6 LR. In terms of camera security, we got a couple announcements. This one's actually released, and I already installed and reviewed this, deployed it at a commercial site, so you can check that out. I'll have it linked somewhere here for you on the screen. This is essentially the upgrade to the G4 PTZ industrial. So it's everything that one is, right? And it has onboard micro SD for edge recording, but also all the advanced AI for like LPR and face detections. Again, you probably want to see my review on it. It also has a pole mount included this time, which is super useful. So go ahead and check that out. Definitely think this 22X one for $1,300. The previous one was $1,800, just for reference. Pretty solid. Then we also have kind of a bit of a surprise, this AI horn speaker. So yeah, it's like a giant, there it is. It's just a giant kind of a speaker, you know, it can do some kind of, I'm assuming, alarms. You can do text to speech with it. I have tried it out a little bit, but I kind of waiting to deploy it at a real site and really test it out. So let me know if there's something in particular you want to see with this guy before you deploy it. It is $300, 120 decibels PoE. So I'm sure you can use Alarm Manager and Protect to do all sorts of things with this guy. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. And maybe like at a school, for example, replacing their PA system for like, you know, bells and rings and just integrating it all, that'll be pretty sweet. And just to show you some pictures, you can, you know, that's the wall mounting and pole mounting, that all comes with it. And you just, you know, PoE and you're good to go. Okay, and then finally a couple accessories. This is, I was actually excited for this one. So they had these, you know, the UniFi patch cables in different colors. For the outdoor, they had the white ones for a while, but not black. So the black ones now came out, and that's super useful, especially now, like they have a lot of, you know, the matte black versions of their cameras. It is a nice cable, right? These are the ones you want without that boot that gets in the way. I find these super useful, like for the last runs, especially when you're going from like a flex switch. Then, you know, they have them ranging from 1 meter to 8 meters. So 3 feet to like 26, is that right? Yeah, 3 to 26 feet, so ranging from $4 to $11. Very useful to have coming off of a switch rather than trying to pull like 4 cables up a pole or something like that. I want to mention the main reason I actually put these in rather than using like a outdoor rated cable, which are typically kind of just hard to work with. These just flex, even though there's some crunchiness there, you can still tell, but they're outdoor rated and it's easier to fit like into a bullet camera, for example. So that's why it's nice to use these patch cables. It does have foil shielding, and you can tell it comes out then on this kind of metal jacket on the top too. So hopefully it helps protect your devices a little bit better outside. Then 2 more shelves they're released. So we had the fixed one for the toolless. Now we have what they call in sliding, which is just a shorter version. So something like, okay, so just 9 inches deep. That's all it is. It's just a shelf nicer. If you have something that gets in the way, you want to put it behind maybe a panel, like one of their OSD panels, then that's nice because you can still put a panel in the front. And then for the regular racks, also $49, they have the cantilevered one. Okay, so like 10 inches deep. Kind of standard, I guess I would say. I mean, you can find from other manufacturers different types of depths, but this is good for like a modem, right, that you need to put on the shelf. You just mount it in the front on your rack or from the back actually as well. And finally, we have the 2 products that were announced but not quite released yet, both in camera security. So first is the AI PTZ Precision. And you'll notice it looks almost identical to the AI PTZ Industrial. Looks like similar or same accessories, even at the tabletop. So what's the point of this one? Well, it has 31x optical zoom, right? The other one's 22. And it makes it work well, I guess, because they have LiDAR with it. I don't know how that all works. And same kind of sensor. So yeah, if you need more precision, and then the AI PTZ Precision will be for you. I don't have any precision in my words. So yeah, I have no idea what it costs. It looks like Q3 is going to come to at least July. And they'll have a white version as well. That's cool. I would say though, in general, it is nicer to have a black PTZ because it's, especially when it's far away enough, you can't tell exactly where that lens is looking. This is probably the coolest one here, is the G6 PTZ. And I think it's because of the price point of $400. you'll also, I guess, eventually Q3, hopefully we'll have the black version. And June 17th, so coming up here, the Y1 will be released. That's great. So this is like the G5 PTZ, except better in every way. So it's 4K instead of 2. It's 10x hybrid zoom. And you can tell because it has these 2 lenses. So it does some kind of funky stuff there in order to achieve that. Twice as heavy, or it feels like that to me, and slightly larger. But it's compatible with most of the G5 PTZ mounting adapters and actually comes with quite a few. I think I can show you our install. Yeah, so we went ahead and actually already installed one of these, and I'm using the optional corner mount, which is definitely worth it here since I can get a wider field of view, you know, when the camera moves around. I am testing it out. So far, all I did is install. So if you have any questions about, you know, what you can expect from this camera, just let me know. Now, since I didn't record a video yet, and I do have it, so it's about 14 feet up. I have it mounted because there were some trees in the way, so the actual lower kind of ended up being better. But until that camera is released, you can watch the video here on the AI PTZ Industrial. I did a full review on it, so you can see if it's worth it, if you need that 22x, how the AI features work. So just click there. I'll see you there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Take care.